we're back. I thought I would do a video on air support for Eastern Front series. This is Kiev to Rostov. So I just want to go over some basics of air power. I think the air game is pretty cool. It's not as in-depth as Next War, of course, because you don't have jets and stuff. So I've set up a pretend battle here between the German 17th Infantry Division and the Russian 15th Division. And this isn't really a combat video, but there will be some modifiers involved. So I've declared an attack. We'll go over this later, but you have to declare attacks in this game. And I've declared an attack here. This is a battle for the town of Priston, let's pretend. And let's pretend that there's when you use air support, I think that you have to have 25 hexes in range of a supply city. So let's pretend the Germans have a city up here that's supplying them, and they're going to use air power, which is in the active box. There's the Russian, they have one fighter up there, and the Germans have Junkers 88 and Bf 109 Messerschmitt up there. And no, there's no Leibstandarte Adolf Hitler infantry in this one. So someone was asking me about that. This is just plain generic Wehrmacht infantry. So air power, there's two types. There's bombers and fighters. Bombers are typically mission units. These are the guys that you need to get through to conduct a mission. Some of them they can fight and they can interdict, and they can fight and do a couple of things depending on what's on the counter. And then you have your fighter units these are never mission units. These are just there strictly to provide air support and to help out. The German planes, like this one, can do both interdiction and can do, I'm just looking for the cat here, can do interdiction and close combat support. So there's each side has various abilities. So the stats on here are, the Messerschmitt is a 4 air combat. So when it fights other planes, it has a 4. And the close air support is the one before the slash. It has 0 close air support. So this won't be providing combat support. He's strictly there to escort the bomber. The bomber has a pretty good fight ability of 3. It can do 1 close air support and 1 interdiction. The number after the slash is interdiction. That's the one you use to blow up roads and cause all sorts of problems. The Soviet fighter, I'm not sure is this an Ilyushin 16, not the best one, only a 1 combat ability. So the German player declares an attack on the town of Priston, and he says, you know what, I gotta take this town. Führer order 3659.2, I gotta take this town. He throws in his air. Now, when you allocate air, each plane in your active box, planes don't have steps, by the way, you can do interdiction or close air support. So this will be close air support. Each air unit, actual or dummy, there are dummy air units that you can use to try to fool the other player to get him to use up his air on something. They can only perform 1 air mission per turn. A maximum of 3 air units per side, that includes the dummies, can be allocated to a single hex. So the declared hex is where the mission is. You'll place your air units upside down so you can't see what's there, right? Now, the Axis single-engine air units cannot be more than 25 hexes from a friendly supply source. We're going to pretend there's a supply source off the map up here. That's single-engine. Then you go to the air combat. This is before, so this happens all before we do this combat because we need to figure out the die roll modifier. Okay, you determine, so we flip the units. You know, surprise, I've got a bomber with the fighter escort. Soviet players like, uh-oh. We determine the firing units and mission units. Bombers are always mission units. He's a mission unit, these two are going to square off. Now, there's not always air combat. You have to do air initiative. So you have to make a roll on air initiative table to determine if there's even combat. There may not be any combat. These fighters may break off and the bomber might go right through. So what you do is the mission person will then roll on this table, the air initiative table. And I'm not sure if there's any modifiers to this table. I couldn't really find any. So let's, I'm gonna roll off camera here. I'm gonna stage this. Okay, it's not gonna be a real roll. I just wanna show you something. All right, so what you'll do is the air initiative determines the order of firing unit placement in air combat. So this roll can either lead to air combat where some of these get shot down, or they could just break off and go away. All right, so I'm gonna pretend I roll the dice. All right, so I roll and I get a 7, which is not, back that out a little bit. Okay, and I get a 7, and we look on the table. No air combat. All firing units return to the flown box. Mission air units continue. All right. So the fighter escorts, you know, maybe they can't find each other. Maybe they just fly right by. So we're gonna take these and go flown box and flown box, and that's where that roll comes in. I showed you in the first video. There'll be an air readiness phase. And we've got +1 because it's frost on that scenario over here that I set up. But this is just an example. There's not too much air power in that tutorial one. Okay, so the mission units continue. The bomber gets through the air screen. All right, now we're not done yet. You have to do anti-aircraft fire. All right, so after you do that, you go to, and then we're looking in the Kiev-Rostov rulebook 17.41. After the completion of air combat, surviving mission units undergo AA fire from eligible units. Who's eligible? All Soviet divisions except cavalry. That's a Soviet division. All right. It's got the XX over it. So the 15th division, that is a unit. He's in the little town here. That's eligible to do air fire. All right. Let me just make sure. Oh yeah, there's also some rules to do this solitaire in the book, in the rule book on page 29. Note to solitaire players, and they give you a little way to do it. You can actually mix all your units up and put them upside down when you draw them, so you don't know what's going on. I might actually do that. The more random, the better. All right. Okay. To resolve AA fire, each player fires once against each enemy mission unit in the mission hex, regardless of the number of eligible ground units. Apply the DRM listed with the AA fire table. Okay. AA fire table. Right there. Okay, so what are the odds? Well, the Soviets firing at a Junkers 87. No, that's a Junkers 88. Right there. I don't know why my table's shaking so much. So this is a Junkers 88. They're not firing at that. Any firing unit bears an out of supply marker. Nope. Per firing AA type unit. Nope. Per firing HQ. Nope. I don't think there's a modifier. So you're wondering about the anti-air unit. But Gamer Hudson, I'm new to war games. How do I know what the hell an AA anti-air unit is? You look here, and if it's got that symbol, that's how you know to apply that modifier. Hunky dory. All right. So the way I'm looking at this is there's no modifiers from what I can tell. Let's see. No AA fire is allowed if the mission hex and all 6 surrounding hexes contain only cav, no enemy units. If the mission hex and all 6 surrounding hexes contain no enemy units. No AA fire is allowed if the mission hex and all 6 surrounding hexes contain no enemy units. Okay, that makes sense. Only Soviet non-AA or non-HQ units of less than a division size. Oh, that's a good one to check. That is not less than a division size. Okay. So I guess we just roll. I don't think there's a modifier. So we want low on this. So I guess a Junkers 87 is faster than the Junkers 88. All right, so let's roll for the divisions. Maybe they've got something in there where they're shooting. They're going to try to take a pot shot at the plane. Now that's a live roll. 6. Ooh. Okay. 7 or less, no effect. Okay, the Junkers gets through. Now, if I'm correct, I've just gotten myself a die roll modifier for this combat. Close air support is the first number after the slash, is the DRM applied to a declared attack by surviving mission units. Okay, bomber gets through, drops the bombs. We're gonna stick that right there, and I'm gonna mark on my notepad that I have a 1 DRM. I don't know if it's positive or minus. Let's see how that affects the combat. Okay. Mission units that survive perform their mission and then go to the flown box. So when he's done, he's going to go over here with the Messerschmitt right there. All right, let's go ahead and do a combat example to add to the link to this video. I just want to make sure I get this right. So now I'm going to be this is going to be raw and live. So let's go back to the combat. All right. Combat phase. Close air support has been done. If all remaining units belong to one side, the total of the cast ratings for those air units is the cast DRM for the combat die roll, 15.65. All right. Organizing each combat. The order of declared attacks is left entirely to the attacker. Yeah, we're going to go. That's the only one. The participating units are in a hex that has a ZOC that extends out, so he's legal to be attacked. He's in a, I don't even know if that's going to affect combat. I think that's a town. Let me look at the terrain effects chart. That's not even a city. That's something way dinkier. That is, yeah, that's a town. Mud or snow, there would be +1 DRM. So we're going to pretend it's frost. There's no die roll modifier, so there's literally, it's just a small town. There's literally no combat bonus. That's why I set up the easiest thing I could. Town of Princeton. This could be a minor, skirmish or something going on the southern flank or something like that. Okay, determining attack supply. We're going to ignore that because let's pretend it's a tutorial and it's not in effect. Normally, though, the attacker declares whether the attack will be supplied and designates a mobile supply unit or a supply dump carrying the supply point. So I could have something like right here, and I'd say, I'm using supply from this. And I would take it out of that and use it. So we'll say this is in supply. We'll go over that later. Because if you don't do that and you're out of supply, it's a +2 DRM. So it looks like plus DRMs are bad, so that plane's going to give me a -1 DRM. Support, artillery support, there's none. You allocate artillery support, there isn't one. Basic odds determination. Okay, so it's attack to defense, 8 to 4. I picked something real easy, that's 2 to 1. Terrain. Swamp. Nope. Major rivers, nope. I was going to put them across the river, but I'm going to make this as easy as possible. Cities and major cities, nope. Weather effects, we're in frost, nope. Mud might do something. The defender totals the defense strength of all units which are the subject of the attack. Artillery units in the defender hex not qualified contribute their defense instead. There's no defender artillery support. Let's go to the next page. We're on page 24. Supply point expenditure. The attacker expends ASPs designated to provide attack supply. Determine the odds. We did. It's 2 to 1. All right. Attacker retreat orders. If desired, the attacker now issues a no retreat or additional retreat orders. We haven't talked about orders, but there are. There's a little funky thing you can do in this game. I think I'm gonna devise an AI system for this where I don't know what I did with my order markers. Oh yeah, they're in the Axis Minor bag. I'm gonna try to devise like a morale or officer stupidity system for this one. The attacker now issues a no retreat or additional retreat. So if I wanted to, I could place an order. Like say I'm making a really bad attack. I could tell, I could place an order marker like that, and you'll reveal it, and like this would be no retreat, for example. And it's hidden, but I'm not gonna do that. All right, so we got 2 to 1. I have -1 to the die roll, I think, so far. Using the categories in this section, the attacker nets the friendly and enemy DRM to arrive at a final DRM. Terrain effects. No. The defender has a no retreat DRM. When in effect, apply a +1. No. There's attacking engineer. There's a -1 DRM if you have an attacking force and the defender's in a city or in a stronghold. I like that. Engineers have a purpose in this game. If you're attacking a city or a strong point, put an engineer in that stack and you'll get a die roll modifier. Is there a super heavy artillery? No. Close air support. If the cast mission was flown in the hex, the net cast points are now translated. Each attacker cast point equals -1. So there could be a situation where you lose the air battle in the sky and the defender has air support and then it's +1. Combined arm bonus. Nope. Panzer Division integrity bonus. No. That's when the German player has his Panzer Divisions. There's at least 3 of, so like if you look here, say I have an armor, a purple infantry, and a purple infantry, I would get a Panzer Division cohesion bonus. So you want to keep these guys together when you play the full game. And I've put these in a baggie by color. It's just easier to find. There's the what's this one? I can't tell what that is. What's DF? Anyone know? I only know Das Reich, Liebstandarte, or Leibstandarte, depending on how you say it. Okay, and the second SS, the Viking. Where's the nuclear vessels? All right, so there's no integrity bonus. There's the net is -1, and you refer to it, and let's roll and see what happens. Okay, this will be a non-stage roll. All right. Here we are again with another chart. 2 to 1. We're gonna be going down this table at a -1. All right, here we go. This is a live roll. Let's hope the Germans don't screw this up like I did in Next War Poland. And the roll is a 2. -1 is a 1. I think that's pretty good. 2 to 1. A 1. Cross-reference. 2 step loss, defender retreat. That's what we were looking for. All right, so the affected force of units loses that number of steps. All right, let me see what. There's a certain, okay, yeah, there's a certain step loss procedure we have to do. And an R, all the remaining affected units are retreated 2 hexes. Oh, the Germans are going to storm that town. All right. The Soviet player could have issued a no retreat order on this town. Okay, so here's what's happened. Step losses. When a loss of combat is required, the owner removes the indicated number of combat strength levels from the total force. No retreat and additional retreat orders may increase the step loss. All right. Now, a combat unit in this game can have up to 4 steps. But you're saying, huh? There's only 1 counter and you flip it over and that's it. Well, if the unit is super strong like this one, that's a 4-step unit. And you're probably wondering how you mark that. Well, the first step loss that it takes, you're not going to flip it. You're going to put this counter on it, like that. Then when it takes another one, then you flip it. Then when it gets hit again, you put another counter on it. Then if it gets hit again, it's gone. Okay? 2 step losses. All right. All units with a printed defense strength of 8 or more have 4 steps. So this has 4 steps. This does not. You have to have 8 or more defense. All units with a printed defense of 5 or more have 3 steps. Nope. All other units have 2. So this is a basic 2. So the result was a 2R. 1, 2. The Soviet 15th Infantry has just been wiped out. Okay? Remove the loss, and when a unit is removed from play, place it in the cadre box or eliminate box depending on how it suffers. I don't know that rule. Let's see. Cadre box, eliminated. Armored trainer zap units. 1 unit. Okay, how do you know where to put it? Oh, units removed by an E result or because they cannot retreat, because they cannot retreat are placed in the eliminated. We didn't get an E result. How bad do you need to roll for that? An E result. Oh. Okay, so your E results are when you just really get just shit hammered. Like when your odds are so high, you're gonna completely obliterate that unit. We didn't get that. So I believe this is a cadre box. Yes, so we will place this in the Russian cadre box. This can be rebuilt later and brought in with replacements. Okay? God, you know, actually, forget what I said. I fucking love these games. This is some good stuff, right? I mean, it's detailed, yes, but damn, you can zoom in and every battle tells a story. That's why I got addicted to it. Also, I picked up Army Group South for less than $100. What do you think about them apples? Okay, removed. Oh, whenever an armor or non-guard artillery step is lost, move the appropriate loss marker 1 box to the right. An armor or non-guard artillery step. Nope. When the step loss reaches the highest, okay, no, nothing there. Okay. Each Soviet Guard artillery step loss is worth 1 victory point for the Germans. Oh yeah, I should point out in this game, you don't track victory points for Russia in this, you just do German victory points. So this will be going up and down, and it can go negative. So only Germany tracks their victory points, and that's for taking towns and stuff. Now, in this scenario, this town could be worth 2 points. Why, I don't know, but okay, this goes back to the flown box. So we put him back over there. Okay. There's a few things like if you roll an asterisk, you could take extra losses against your armor and engineers. There is armor attrition. Armor units are required to take the first step of an asterisk combat result. So sometimes attacking may wear down your armor. Okay, but let's go on now to advance after combat. When any defender hex is vacated, attacking units can advance, subject to terrain and stacking. Advances are useful in cutting off the enemy. A player exercises the option to advance immediately. Player is not forced to advance. Only victorious non-artillery units can advance. Advancing units can enter only the hex that was attacked. They ignore enemy ZOCs. So, to pretend they ignore enemy ZOCs, if this was here, they could still advance and ignore that enemy ZOC. But the Germans, Germany has just taken the town of Princeton. The 17th Infantry Division will advance into the town, and couriers will be sent out notifying everyone of their victory. Units cannot violate stacking limits. In the case of multiple hex combat, victorious units can advance from any hex. Okay, that's it. I just wanted to get that on camera so that when the time comes we play the full game, you know what's going on with the air. I love that system. It's great stuff. All right, I'm going to get this video up. As usual, follow me on Instagram because that's where I have my wargaming stuff, gamer.hudson. This video will be going up on YouTube. Leave comments below. Thanks, everyone, for watching.